Hi, welcome to Nonprofit Narratives. I don't know if it's good morning or good afternoon, depending on when this airs. I am with Hearts of Hope. We are the Sexual Abuse Center or Sexual Trauma Center here in Lafayette, and today with me I have one of my fellow coworkers, Lauren Liu.
Hi, I'm Lauren Liu. I'm one of the sexual assault nurse examiners, and I work with Hearts of Hope at their clinic, which is Hope Health Clinic, directly on site with their Child Advocacy Center. And I'm happy to be here with Jency.
So today we're going to talk about a few different things that are kind of going on at Hearts of Hope. So first I want to talk to everybody about our services, specifically our Sexual Abuse Response Center. And then in our second segment, we're going to go through our newest program is our Hope Health Clinic. But at Hearts of Hope, we are the lead advocacy agency in Lafayette, or for the Acadiana region, that has 3 programs that are housed under one roof. We have our Children's Advocacy Center, who help children who have disclosed some type of abuse allegations. And then our program, the Sexual Abuse Response Center. And then you have our Hope Health Clinic that is new in this area. So I am the Sexual Abuse Response Center coordinator. And so my role is to kind of help guide our team that helps provide advocacy to any survivor that has been experiencing some sexual assault. At Hearts of Hope, our mission is to support healing and hope for those survivors who encounter sexual assault. So our purpose as advocacy and as an advocacy agency is to support those survivors' rights and to advocate for them. So our services at Acadiana through our Sexual Abuse Response Center is we partner with local hospitals, law enforcement, universities, and community agencies to help survivors through an assault. So we have advocates that go out to the hospital and who will respond in the emergency room setting. Those advocates meet the survivor where their needs are, where they're at, and then we provide them with any resources that they might need throughout the process. We're typically the first point of contact for survivors. We are that first person that when something happens that they come to us and we help guide them through all of that. We have a 24-hour crisis line, and that is where people can call anonymously to ask those questions about sexual assault. And that number is 337-232-7273. And throughout this program, you'll hear us talk about that crisis line and how to utilize that crisis line and how you can call and ask. But it's a call and ask questions. So it really is an anonymous line that is there for support for anyone who needs and has those questions about sexual abuse. We have a 24/7 crisis response. So there is someone always on the other end of that line. There's someone always available to help survivors. We provide all of our emergency room services are 24/7, and there is always an advocate available to talk with survivors, whether it's in person or over the phone, but there's going to be somebody there to walk you through that process.
I will say, as a nurse, one of my favorite parts about having an advocate is you really are that emotional support for our patients, and even when patients decide that they don't necessarily want to have evidence collected, you guys are still going to be there for them from the moment they enter a hospital and just walk them through that process. So it's a real gift that you guys are there.
Thank you. And there's a lot of when you're dealing with the criminal justice system or something that happens to you and you're in a trauma mode, you don't know what's going on, and there's a lot of questions that come with that, and an advocate can help support you and give you that power back that has been taken away from you.
Yeah, I feel like you guys just know where to start from the beginning, and sometimes the process is so long, but you are always there no matter what place they're in to meet them there, and it's just y'all are the constant for our patients, and it's just so important.
Well, thanks. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of like she said, there's a lot of in and out that kind of goes in between when a person, if they choose to make a report or they seek medical attention. Your advocate is with you from start to finish until whatever point in the journey you decide, whether that is going through the legal prosecution or just getting your own healing and not going through that. We always tell survivors of sexual violence that they are leading this journey, and we're just there to support whatever decision that they make.
Yeah, even as a nurse, I have my specialty and things that I know, but I know when I have a question, I can reach out to you guys to say, who in the community are you reaching out to for these specific needs? And I know that most of the time you guys have an answer for me, which is such a relief. And even if you guys don't, you're going to figure it out. And I just love the way there's so much teamwork to help this patient really get what they need in the moment, even if it's immediately after or months after. You guys are always looking for answers for them, and it's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. And that's what's most important for survivors, is having that sense of support, and then empowering them. So a lot of what we do for sexual assault survivors is not make the phone calls for them, but like, hey, let's do these together, and I'll call these people together to ask the question, because we don't want to be the middleman and kind of get things mixed up. We also are the go-between between medical staff, law enforcement if they choose to report it, the district attorney's office. We kind of help survivors understand, and we go to all of those meetings. So anytime a survivor wants to report a sexual assault, they have the right to have an advocate present while law enforcement is questioning them. And so that advocate is there to meet those emotional needs and to help them understand why those questions. When you're in a trauma, you don't understand sometimes, and you're not thinking clearly, and sometimes questions can seem like maybe that person doesn't believe you, or maybe it's a difficult question and you just need somebody to hold your hand through that. And that's what us advocates do.
Yeah, you guys are so focused on making sure all of our patients are heard, like nobody's voice gets silenced by any means. And it's kind of, similar to where if you had any kind of other medical issue, you'd want somebody there making sure that you're taking notes or paying attention or asking those questions that you might forget. So it's this extra person that's, on your team. It's just,
and a lot of times people will use like lingo, so today, like our short term for our program is SARP. We have lots of acronyms in the sexual assault field that we use. And so we're there to kind of help guide them through those acronyms.
And some of those acronyms are so similar that it gets a little confusing, but there's a lot of people there that are all working, to get you where you need to be through the process.
Right. So some things that I kind of wanted to touch on, we have what's called the Survivor Bill of Rights. So what that Survivor Bill of Rights is, it entitles sexual assault survivors to certain things. So some of them is the right to have a free exam. So if you go to the hospital or to one of our agencies and receive that forensic medical collection kit, that you should not be charged for, and so the advocate will help you if something else comes up. You have the right to have an advocate present during your forensic medical exam, and also when you're being questioned by law enforcement. Survivors have the right for information and consent. They have the right to have confidentiality and dignity. Their evidence to be preserved. Your evidence will be held for up to 20 years, and for that evidence to be preserved. And then our advocates help you exercise these rights. So there's a whole bunch of more different rights in there, but those are the ones that I really wanted to highlight that really affect when you first come to us for that care and that service. You also have the right to have your medical records and reports at no cost to you. So that can kind of help alleviate some of those things for those survivors.
And this is a long list, so it's good that our advocates really know that, you guys knowing all these rights, it's something that the information that you give them right away, because it can feel overwhelming to walk in to an emergency department for an exam and you're worried about costs, and it's important for our patients to know that that doesn't need to be a concern for them. Yeah,
and we want people to know that we work collaboratively with law enforcement, with medical staff, and really our goal with we have multidisciplinary teams, so that means a whole bunch of people come together at the table to meet, and with those multidisciplinary teams, we want to reduce re-traumatization for those people and ensure that care. So just to kind of wrap things up, to kind of see where we're going, and just to kind of give you what the impact is in this Acadiana area and what are we doing. So this year we took 322 crisis line calls from our 24-hour crisis line. That's in 2025. Wow. In 2025 we had 141 people who reported to the hospital to seek some kind of service for sexual assault, whether it was getting an evidence collection kit done or it was going to seek any kind of medical care. And those 141 cases, each one of those person had an advocate there to support them. And in total, our Sexual Abuse Response Center had 254 clients that we responded to. So our service area is Lafayette, Vermilion, Acadia, St. Martin, Iberia, and St. Mary parishes. So those are the areas where our survivors are coming from.
The wide area.
Yeah. So our next part is that we know that advocacy is our foundation. for what we do at Hearts of Hope, and we want to continue to grow in how we help survivors. So coming up next is we're going to talk more about what's happening at Hearts of Hope, including that new important resources. The program that Lauren's under is the Hope Health Clinic. It's a new step for survivor care in the Acadiana. It reflects our commitment and compassion to help survivors and to support from the very first response until all the way through.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more of the specific services that Hope Health Clinic can offer. And it's a blessing really to be in the Child Advocacy Center building. So, we can kind of coordinate some of our services directly with our forensic interviewers so that, when we can avoid having to bring people in multiple times, that's an option there, which is really nice.
All right, well, we are super excited to have you and super excited to have that next part of this program and talk to you a little bit more about all the things that you do and all the things that we're offering and what that looks like for sexual assault survivors in our area, and how having that one-stop shop and one-stop place for everyone to come in can be great.
Yeah, me too.
We will see y'all in a minute.
Looking to grow your nonprofit's impact? Join AOC Community Media for Nonprofit Nourish, a quarterly meetup designed to connect, empower, and elevate local changemakers. Each session features expert-led workshops, free headshots, PSA recordings, and a light lunch, all at no cost. Topics rotate quarterly, spotlighting a range of areas including storytelling, media strategy, and community outreach. Space is limited. Register now at aocinc.org/nonprofit, and let's nourish the good together. Whether you're just starting out or leading a seasoned organization, there's a seat at the table for you. Let's build a stronger, more connected nonprofit community, one story at a time. Acadiana nonprofits are the heartbeat of our community, and Nonprofit Narratives brings their stories to life. Produced by AOC Community Media, this half-hour series showcases local organizations, highlighting their missions, impacts, and the people they serve. From youth mentorships to environmental advocacy, each episode celebrates the voices driving change across Acadiana. Tune in to AOC Channels 1 and 2, stream at aocinc.org/watch, and download AOC's streaming app found on most streaming platforms. Real stories, local heroes. This is Nonprofit Narratives.
Welcome back to Nonprofit Narratives, to our second segment, and we're going to talk about our Hope Health Clinic, and I'm excited to have Lauren with us.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm Lauren Liu. I'm one of the sexual assault nurse examiners at Hope Health Clinic. What's special about Hope Health Clinic is that we have trauma-informed providers available on site at our Child Advocacy Center. It's right down the hall. Our real focus is on patient-centered care. We always want to come back to our patient, what's best for them. Our providers have been trained in trauma-informed care, so we want to make sure that our patients are always feeling safe, that they're feeling respected, and to know that we're always keeping their privacy. So the main focus at the clinic is that we want to obviously support our patients' physical health, their emotional well-being, their mental health. But like I said, a big part of that for us is making sure that our patients have control. A lot of situations that have brought our patients in is because they didn't have control, and we just want to focus on, we're here to support you, and whatever your choice is, we'll help you, get through that.
So why does the clinic matter? Why is it important to have that here in the Acadiana area?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, it's such a special situation that our patients are going through, to have people that have been trained specifically to deal with these situations. They're very heavy topics, and to know where to focus our care and what we should specifically be looking at with each patient, and then the additional services that these patients are going to need after this. To have that in Acadiana, it's important. Not everywhere gets to have these services, in their city. And, some people are traveling an hour to get these. And so it's a special thing to be able to provide that kind of specialized care for those patients because they deserve it and, you know, they need it the most.
And why is it better to have that like the specific training that y'all have or the specific care for these people, for our sexual assault survivors?
So our providers have gone through hours and hours of specialized training to where, you know, we have done training on forensic photography, evidence collection. You know, there's things that we can focus on in the science of evidence collection that we've learned that other people might overlook or not realize, well, that's an important part. You know, through education on STIs and all the extra things that some of our patients, you know, are at risk of from these events. You want to make sure that you're providing care for people who know what are the possibilities of risk after our patients have been through these situations, and you want to make sure that you're protecting them from any other, you know, traumas or illnesses post assault, basically.
Yeah. Who can come to the Hope Health Clinic?
I mean, really anyone who has been a survivor of sexual assault, you know, you can come to Hope Health Clinic. A lot of our patients we specialize is a lot of pediatric patients we will see. So, you know, if they have had a forensic interview down the hall, we can see them for a pediatric medical forensic examination. But also anyone who's had a sexual assault can reach out and we will provide. We can have an initial medical exam if we are not in a time frame where the traumatic event just happened, but if it has been within a certain amount of time, we are able to collect evidence at the clinic as well. So we can do forensic medical exams with evidence collection.
And I'm sure that's better for the sexual assault survivor because they're not having to wait hours in the emergency department and then have people who are not trained with trauma. It can be a more calming experience for them.
It's quieter, it's calmer, it's much more private. You know, you're being taken care of from the beginning, entering our doors with an advocate. You know, you don't have to go through, I mean, it takes a lot of courage to enter a building to do those kits and collections. And so it's nice to be able to have a facility where everyone in that building has been trained to deal with patients that have gone through trauma. So we're being very delicate in the way we're going to handle your case. But yes, to not have to go through the hospital process is an extreme benefit. It's a very calm environment. It's different.
So some of the services that are provided are the forensic medical exams by y'all sexual assault nurse examiners.
Yes.
Preventative medications, are those provided?
Yes. So we can collect evidence at the clinic for you to process a kit collection. And then in addition to collecting evidence, if that's what you would like to do, we also always recommend if you're interested in having STI screening, testing, and then if you need it in the follow-up, we can make sure that you get the treatment if any of that were to come back positive. You know, you have the privacy through the clinic to be able to handle those situations. We can get you treatment on site. We have those available in-house. And, you know, we always have the follow-up as well. You're welcome to call us in a week or two if something, you know, doesn't seem right. We offer those services for you continually, and we encourage you to use them. In addition to STIs, we also have the ability to test for pregnancy. Sometimes we're getting those patients who've been assaulted, and if they're within a specific time frame, we can do pregnancy testing, and we do have emergency contraception available on site.
And how much does this cost for people who come in?
This is free. So all of our patients who are coming, you know, into our clinic, they're not going to be charged for these services, the same as we would, you know, not allow them to be charged for them in the hospital. So.
And how would someone get referred, or how do they contact the Hope Health Clinic?
They can contact the Hope Health Clinic through our main line, or if you need to use the crisis line and get access through the crisis line, that's 24/7. But they can contact us at the crisis line.
Yeah, so anybody can contact to get information about the Hope Health Clinic through our 24-hour crisis line. Yeah. All of our advocates are trained on what the Hope Health Clinic does. There are times, though, that people can't come to the Hope Health Clinic because maybe they need to go to the hospital because of the type of injuries that they have. So if you have a broken arm or any of those kinds of things, they might have to go to the emergency department. And so the advocates will know about those.
Yeah. I wanted to just touch on, I think a special part of the Hope Health Clinic and its location is that our ability to work with the pediatric population. I think that we have some providers that it's hard to always find people who are trained to work with children, and we know how to get on their level and make them feel safe, and we're going to approach them in an age-appropriate way. So, we want to make sure that we have patients who feel comfortable. We're going to let them utilize our tools and use them on us. We have an approach to this pediatric population that's very important, and we just always want to make them feel safe and protected. And what's nice is that we're always focusing on making sure that we're working with their caregivers as well, so that they have, a whole little team that's making them,
a holistic approach. So
Yeah.
we're talking about the teams. How does advocacy in collaboration with law enforcement and DCFS, the Department, Child Protective Services and law enforcement, and then even when it comes time to the court case, so how do y'all come in to the collaboration?
Well, every month that we have our multidisciplinary team meetings, we can inform any updates to our team that is the medical side, or if, they need more details on some of the findings or anything like that we can provide kind of a little back end on the medical aspect. If things progress through and we need to testify in court for our patients, we are available to do that on their behalf as well.
So when you testify in court, are y'all considered an expert witness, or?
It depends on who's testifying. It depends on if the court has deemed them an expert or not. So every case is a little bit different, but we do have SAY nurses that are considered expert witnesses at Hope Health Clinic.
So how is this partnership made? Like, how do you get referrals?
So, a majority, I would say, of our patients right now do come from a lot of forensic interviews. Directly, our forensic interviewers, they're having their setup interviews, and we're able to kind of go in and see, are these cases that would benefit from a medical forensic exam. So I would say a majority come from that, but also, our advocates can help steer patients in our direction through the crisis line calls that they get that people are looking for assistance.
And so since this is a new program, what we're looking for is just to spread the word out to the community,
Yes.
so community members can start reaching out to us and asking for help through this, through our Hope Health Clinic, and getting the care that they need with that survivor-centered response.
Yeah, some people don't realize that this is available to them. Even if it's not you that needs services, maybe you have a friend, maybe you have a loved one that's dealing with some kind of trauma, and just, share this information with them, let them know that we're here. Even if you kind of don't know where to start, or they don't know where to start, we can help you find the place to start,
Right. There's always someone there on that line that's going to help and answer their questions.
Yes, it's really nice to just, know that somebody's going to pick up that call. So, I didn't know if there was anything else I wanted to mention. I guess what I want to bring home is that we have that, dignity and respect at the forefront of what we do. We know that these are situations that have brought people in where it's a trauma. And so we're always there to get you the help that you need, but we're always going to make sure that we're continuing to get your consent. Any of our patients, whether they're adult population or pediatric population, we're going to make sure that throughout the entire process that we're telling you what we're doing before we're doing it. And if you change your mind and you don't want to do something, we're going to support you through that decision. We're never going to force anybody to go through with something that they're not comfortable with. We're not going to cause re-traumatization to any of our patients, and it's just a very supportive place.
So just to kind of wrap things up and to kind of put our whole nonprofit narrative together, we wanted to kind of wrap it up. We have our Hope Health Clinic, our Sexual Abuse Response Center. We are all working together. We have our 24-hour crisis line that is always there for people if they have questions, which that number again I'm going to say is 337-232-7273. Our website is www.theheartsofhope.org. Hearts of Hope believes no survivor should walk this journey alone, and we're honored to walk beside them. And we want to really thank the opportunity from AOC and everyone here for giving us this opportunity to share with the community of what we do through the nonprofit narrative. It's something that we're really excited to do and happy to do that. We also have, we're also always looking for community members to come and volunteer. So if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, again, you can hit us up on that crisis line, 337-233-7273, and we will get you in touch with our volunteer coordinator. But again, we are happy for AOC and for this nonprofit narrative, and thanks for allowing us to sit here and talk to y'all about Hearts of Hope.
Thank you.